Hi, this is Rebecca Ragsykes. I'm out in the forest now. This is another environment that Neanderthals would have been more than familiar with. I'm in Wales right now and got some walls here, which is obviously recent historical constructions. But one of the things that we know about Neanderthals is that while they undoubtedly lived through cold periods and knew ice-blasted winters, they also lived through interglacials. Just means a warm period rather than a cold period or a glacial. And this sort of environment, not exactly the same as this, but lush like this, forested like this. This was the kind of landscape that generations of Neanderthals would have known, lived and died in, grew up walking through the leaves like this. Hear that sound? Would have heard the insects buzzing under the canopy, listened to birds, and of course hunted forest creatures. That includes deer, fallow deer, because the fallow deer that we have today in Britain are historical introductions. Fallow deer today are only native to the Near East, but if you go back to the last full interglacial, about 123,000 years ago, Europe was actually warmer than today by a few degrees, and fallow deer were part of that forest fauna, their spots giving them excellent camouflage in the dappled light amongst the trees. But also other animals that sometimes lived out on the plains that Neanderthals hunted on the grassland and the steppe, they shifted to the new conditions and changed from grazing to browsing, horses, for example. And also during this period, the last great interglacial, which is known as the Eemian period, there were forest elephants as well. Oh, I've got to negotiate the path here. And we can imagine I'm following this trail by the side of a stone wall, which I'm pretty sure animals are using this. But elephants would have given Neanderthals their highways through the deep, rough forest, and animals would have created clearings, would have congregated at the lakes, and it's at these amazing preserved lake sites and other water sources where we seem to find the best preservation of Neanderthal Eemian sites. And this includes places in Germany where it looks like Neanderthals were probably hunting elephant. There is the remains of a spear underneath the elephant, although it's not a smoking gun, but we do have direct evidence of forest hunting by Neanderthals at another place in the same lake basin, where there are two large fallow deer stags with holes in the bones from having been speared. And we can see the Neanderthals, we can imagine them tracking the deer on their morning walks through the forest, that they would have known that the deer follow the route every day, going down to the lake to get their morning water. And that would be a great place to ambush deer, force them into the water. And so we can imagine next time you go out in the forest like this, in any woodland really, you can imagine that this was a world of the Neanderthals just as much as any of the great mammoth steppe. They were ancient people of the forest too.